Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, everybody. Today I'm interviewing Cindy Stuart, a multi-million-dollar producer realtor with Semonin Realtors in Louisville, Kentucky. She's been in real estate for 18 years, and she's a proud mother of 3 children, 3 in-law children, and 7 grandchildren. Welcome, Cindy. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Cindy, before we get into this, can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Well, I was a stay-at-home mom for most of my kids' lives with them, and then getting them grown, I decided to get into real estate and earn some income before retirement, and it seemed like something fun to be able to do. I like working with people and houses and showing houses and seeing new things, so I did, and the bug hit, and I got in at a really good time when the market was busy, so it made it, fairly easy to get started, even though I had moved back to Louisville from another town after being gone for 22 years. And I took off running and have never looked back.
Awesome. You kind of alluded to it, but what led you into real estate? And is this something you always wanted to do, or did you just stumble into it?
Well, it wasn't something that I had ever thought about doing. I was a substitute teacher for 5 years with the kids in school, and then I was working every day of the year doing that, and you don't get paid very much being a substitute teacher, and I decided that if I was going to work hard and long hours, that I wanted to get paid better for it. So it's just something that I turned to try and thought it was fun, and I think if you have a fun time with your job and enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't make it seem so much like a job. It's a career.
And what do you think were your best attributes that allow you to be so successful at this?
Well, I think that I am a high energy person. I'm very detail oriented. I have a lot of caring and concern for my buyers and my sellers. Buying and selling is a stressful time for people. It's the most money you ever spend on anything in your life normally, so that even adds to the stress. And, I think it takes a lot of hand-holding and helping people make good decisions, listening to their needs and concerns, so that you know how they need you to help them and what they need from you, and being full time, because real estate, with all the technology we have now, it's not just an 8 to 5 job. It's pretty much 24/7, and you've got to be able to answer your phone and get back to things when people need them. But I think the being high energy really helps a lot.
Can you give some specific examples of how this helps you be successful?
How it helps me be successful? Well, I think that when you do a good job for people, then they refer you to friends and family, because they know that you have done a good job for them, and everybody wants to know who they're working with as someone who's going to take care of them, and you end up working on referrals from everybody. I'm getting ready to start with a mother and her friend to buy a house that is the mother of clients that I've worked with here, and I'm working with the other side of the family too, and it's all referral, because the first person was pleased with me, and it builds on itself, and that really is how working in real estate builds on the business.
Mm-hmm. Well, as anything in life, there's no straight line to success, right? There's ups and downs. Can you talk about some of the major adversities, trials that you had to overcome to achieve your goals?
Well, when I first came back to Louisville, the biggest thing was moving into a brand new neighborhood where it was new construction and not really knowing anybody in town. So I had to do the old-fashioned hard way, where you cold called and door knocked and worked hard to find the business out there and sell yourself on people. And that built up, and the market was good. And then we had the big market crash in the mid-2000s, and you've got to learn to roll with the market. When one thing's up, another thing's down, and you just kind of keep moving along with all of it as you can, and it what goes around comes around, and you kind of get where you need to be with it. But it's not all. Sometimes it's feast or famine. You'll have nobody for a couple of weeks that need anything, and then you have 4 people at one time. You can't. That's the hard part about real estate, is you can't even it out and make it so much each day. It comes at you when it comes to you, and you just need that high energy to survive it all.
Well, obviously, we all have our ups and downs, but sometimes we have bigger lows. Let's just put it that way. What kept you going when you ended up in those lowest of the lowest?
Well, what keeps you going is that in real estate, you're an independent contractor, so that if you want to have an income, you've got to earn the money and you have to work. So I'm not ready to retire yet, and when I buy one grandchild gift, I have to buy 7. So I just keep doing all the things that are tried and proven in real estate, and help my buyers and sellers achieve their goals and make good decisions. And it's what it takes to become a good realtor.
Great. Now, looking forward, where do you see yourself for your business in the next 5 years?
Well, I think that with this business, to keep up, and you have to embrace the technology and the social media and all of the new tools that have come towards us. Real estate, when I started, not everybody even had cell phones, and now everything is set up on the computer, and people have cell phones, and they can click on numbers and look at the inside of a house with their phone sitting in front of it. We have tools to be able to do contracts electronically, and the social media sites are a really, really big thing. People want to text instead of talk. So I think that, having a good technology department with my company, which they are just awesome and keeping us trained on everything, I think that is the big thing looking forward for the next 5 years, is to continue to embrace the technology and use it. And so much of it saves us a lot of time. So much of it is very, very good.
That's great. You got to keep with the time, right?
You absolutely have to keep with the times in this business.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about some of the misconceptions out there about working with a realtor. What do you think are the biggest misconceptions or myths that people have about working with a realtor?
Well, I think it is one big myth, that I think there's one myth that everybody has the same thoughts on, that if they use a real estate agent, it's going to cost them more money to buy the house. But, and the opposite of that is actually what is true, because first of all, you don't have any way to comp a house to know what the value is. And if you are trying to buy a for sale by owner, then someone is going to usually overpay for the house, because they don't always have them priced right. And then, getting the house under contract is just a small part of the transaction. Going through the inspections and the appraisals and the mortgage process and everything else that you have to do to get it to the closing table, it's a lot of work. So I think realtors earn their money in what they do, and I think if you don't have a realtor, you make your money when you buy, for sure. So you don't want to overpay. You only want to pay what the value of the house is, and then you want you want it to be a smooth I'm sorry, I can't say this right. You want it to be a smooth process to get it to the closing table, and that's part of my job, is to make sure everything is done so that it does get to the closing table without being too hard on anybody.
Now, obviously, we recommend going with a realtor, but what would you recommend somebody who's looking to find the right realtor? What would you recommend a person that wants to make sure they find the right one?
Well, for someone who is family that is not in my neighborhood area or not in my state, I have the ability with our relocation department to be able to set them up with agents that we know are good agents and that work with the same tenacity that we do. And I'm always happy to help family get set up with someone. I talk to the agent, make sure that they're full-time and high energy like I am, and that they're detail-oriented, and that they dot their I's and cross their T's, because that's what it takes to have a smooth transaction to get things to the closing table.
Awesome. Now, before we wrap up, do you have one more piece of advice for our listeners to be successful in purchasing or selling a home?
I think that you need to pick an agent that you're comfortable working with, that you know is knowledgeable and full-time. You need to have someone who's a good contract negotiator who knows how to help you with your mortgage needs, getting you where you need to be. I think that you need to have somebody who can give you the knowledge you need to know about neighborhoods and show you around. You make your money when you buy, so you need to be able to look at comps and have someone who is knowledgeable and knowing how to show you that, so that you make a good decision and that you've got a house that you can build some equity in, and then and that is a house that works for your family.
Awesome advice. Now, how can our listeners learn more or get in touch with you?
Well, you can reach me on my website, which is cindystuart.semonin.com, and that's Cindy, Stuart, Semonin, SEMONIN.com, or my cell number is 502-645-0461.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cindy, for taking the time to do this for us. I really appreciate it. It was very enlightening, very interesting. So thank you once again.
Okay, thank you.
All right, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.